So this is what the setup that I've got so far on my Martian. This is what I fly typically 90% of the time. You can see that I've got my ESCs straight to the unfiltered PDB board of the Martian, and then the unfiltered PDB board goes up to this middle filtered PDB board, and then my camera, VTX, and my board are all ran off of this filtered PDB board right here. Also, my battery is ran off of the filtered PDB board right in the middle, and that's been working good. When buying one of these, it makes you want to get an OSD, or else you're running two PDBs in a regular board, in a flight control board. So you might as well go out and get you an OSD to run your camera and your board and everything off of, something that has a little bit of a filter to it, because this board here has absolutely no filter. And so if you were to hook your camera and your VTX and your board up off of it, you know, it's getting volts and everything straight from the battery. So any surges or anything like that are going straight into your board or your camera or anything, and your camera should be ran on a 12 volt and your board should be ran on a 5 volt. Instead, you're getting the full force of the battery on them if you're not running at least an extra PDB board. So I put a real cheap, like $2.50 PDB board right here in the middle. But what I ended up doing here recently is, and this is a good thing to do, is they're not too expensive. They're only $15. I went and got this Maytek HUB OSD, and this is a PDB board and OSD put together that's real easy to hook up. Right down here you've got all of your, you can see the 12 volt there, ground, camera, ground, VTX. So you put your VTX in ground, camera in ground, and then you can put your camera, you know, depending on which way you're going, if you're going this way or this way, wherever your VTX is at and stuff. I'm going to put my camera on that 12 volt, and then my VTX, there's an extra 12 volt right up here, right there, that you can put your VTX on, so you're not sharing the same port. So, and then you've got your 5 volt down here by my thumb, 5 volt and ground down here. And then you see you've got your 4 spots for your ESCs. If you don't have one of these PDBs here, if you're not doing a Martian or something, you've got your spots for your ESCs there. But I'm going to be running this PDB up to these ports here. And I'll be running that battery lead straight off of there. So, and now I'm going to have OSD, which is going to feed into my goggles, the battery and things like that. So I no longer have to use these, which I've went through several of them. You want to get you a buzzer either on the board. See, I got this here, but there's so little information on the FlySky IX6 that I haven't been able to figure out how to set up the buzzer to work correctly. So I pretty much just got it there, so if it goes down and it's still got the battery on, but I lose it, then I can flip the switch and that beeper will go off, and it's kind of like just an extra fail-safe in case I need a beeper to help me find it. And I like having that, but I've always had to strap this to the balance port on the battery. And you can see this one's broken because I crashed it, and that broke off there. And I've lost like 3 or 4 of these. You got to buy these in bulk if you're going to use them, because I've lost them, and I think I've only got one working one left. So I'm glad I got the OSD in, because now I'm never going to have to use these big bulky things again. You have to either put an extra strap over the battery and strap these into it, or a long enough battery strap to get this underneath. If you're using a 1500 milliamp per hour battery, then it's a pretty big battery, so it leaves you very little room to put a voltage meter in it. It's good to get these, to get one of them, to check your battery voltage after you get done charging, to make sure all your cells are correct, or if you're out in the field and you feel like one of your batteries is acting up, to test the voltage on it. Plus, when you're charging, if your parallel charging, and you want to make sure that your battery cells are good, you know, not too far apart from each other so you can charge them together, then definitely get one of these. These check your voltage. It'll tell you how many volts are in each cell. So I would definitely suggest getting one. Just now I don't have to use this on mine, so I never have to buy another one because I'm not going to break these again since I have an OSD. So this is what I soldered here. Let's see, I got the battery leads down here, and then I've got a negative here and a positive down here that's going to go to the board, the existing unfiltered PDB board. And then over on this side, I've got all the camera stuff soldered, and then a positive and a negative over on this side for the unfiltered board. So I'm going to be running 2 wires to the unfiltered board just to get an even distribution of power. This is the old board that was on it. It was just a cheap board that has all the positives on one side and the negatives on the other. And then it has 5 and 12 volt up here, and LEDs down at the bottom. I mean, I've put so much heat through this board. This it's still kicking, still working. So, but I'm not going to be using these boards anymore, because if this works correctly and good, then I'm going to put these on all of my builds, because there's no point not having an OSD. Look at the difference in size. So I'm going to slap this onto the board now. Oh, I'm going to put the battery leads on first. So once the battery leads are on, I can tell where everything's going to go. So if you want to see something soldered, another thing too is I've already got my own standoffs on here, but this comes with a bag of standoffs, which is awesome. You can't ever get enough standoffs, enough of these nylon standoffs. You need these like crazy. I burn them all the time. I do. What I'm doing is, the more heat that you put through your control board, the more risk you take of damaging it. So I'm actually taking the tape off from around the ESCs, and I'm going to remove the wires, unsolder the wires on the ESCs, leave every wire soldered into the board, and just remove the board. The only wires connected right now are the wires to the ESCs. Plus it's a lot easier this way because I can follow the wires, put them back the way that they're bent, and just put them back to their arm. So I just don't like to put too much heat through the board. I've ruined a lot of boards. By putting too much heat through them. You know, by ruining the little parts where the ESCs connect to the board. Like full working boards, but like one port doesn't work, or it's just frustrating. But I've put so much heat through these ESCs that it's not even funny, and they've never had a problem, so I'm not worried about them. See, looks like a crazy alien thing. I I have plenty of room to work on my hub OSD here. These wires were specifically cut for the other board, so I'm going to recut them for this. Don't want any excess wire, any unwanted weight. So I've got these wires down here are running to this unfiltered board. Those wires there run into the unfiltered board on this side. And then here's my battery here, which is actually going to kick out the side. Now you can see I had to get some extra wire because I had this cut to size for the way it was the last time, but these red wires are each hooked up to their respective color here. So that is the yellow wire there. That's hooked up to the cam. Then you've got the black wire, which is hooked up to the ground, and then the red wire, which is hooked up to the 12 volt. So I left a little bit of extra wire because you want a little bit to play with. Every now and then you crash hard enough, on the ass end, this will pop out. And if you got tight wire, it'll pop out a lot easier. If you got loose wire, it won't. So, and that kind of sucks because I didn't realize that my solder had solder on the tip of it, and so now my video solder ball is like gigantic there. This is the hookup for the VTX. I made it run along, but that's okay, because I'm going to twist it up. But there it is there, into the VTX and ground. And then I got it doubled on the 12 volt because I got some solder down here on the, they put solder on the 12 volt down here. And I don't know why. I'm wondering if that is for a specific reason. I know that on the schematics and stuff it says to put it on there. I've seen other people online, so I'm not too worried about it. But I'm just gonna put them on the same one. So, all right, I got it all back together. Down in here in the front, you can barely see where everything kind of hooks together. VTX cord comes out. Man, I just made it too long. I don't know why I did that, but that's okay. Hook the board up to, there's two 5 volt spots and two 12 volt spots. So I think that's really cool. Because you also got some LEDs that have little switches on the LEDs that you can set up yourself. You can change the colors on them by just flipping these little switches. They just plug into a 5 volt. So you can definitely use that for that. So I really don't like that I had to put the battery out the back, but I wasn't going to turn this sideways and have these spots exposed. I like my camera connections and stuff to have as much protection as possible. So I dig it. So I'm going to put this together, kind of see what the OSD looks like through the goggles. Well, it is all together. It's all together and it's working beautifully. I just looked through my goggles. I'll put their white standoffs on the top here because their nylon's stronger than my nylon. Plus, while I was soldering, I put one of my nylons on, and while I was soldering, I accidentally hit it with the solder gun, so I melted it, and it was the last one I had of that size. I hit it. But, yeah, there we go. That was the last one I had of that size. And these ones are actually a little bit bigger than the white ones, so I couldn't put just one white one on. I had to put all of them on. So these white ones they're a lot tougher. These ones are easier, bendable and stuff. So I went ahead and with all the white ones. I like how's that makes that red LED in there look pink. So it's like pink and blue on the inside. That's pretty cool. So anyways, I was going to show you through my goggles what the OSD looks like, but I think I'll go ahead and finish this video up when it's nicer outside. It's raining right now. I'll do a flight. I still have my thing hooked up because I had to adjust my signature. It was right underneath where the OSD stuff is. So I had to put it towards the top. Anyways, we'll see you guys later. Y'all have a good one.